There's all these amazing missions that have to happen, and I'm curious as to how do we you were giving these sources for the ways that we can potentially get decrease the cost of the missions, increase the funding for them, privatize as well. And there's the book about astrophysics for people in a hurry with Neil, and your book Earth in Human Hands. These books have slowly been inspiring more people to look up, get out of the light pollution, be like what exists out there. How can we get inspired by the cosmos? All these stories that Seth Shostak and I have talked about, when you're looking at a kid when they're 6 or 8 or 10 years old, looks at the rings of Saturn through a telescope and it's game over. Then they're sold on the beauty of the cosmos forever. How do we get to getting all these missions to happen? And think about the expansion of the minds of all the young kids and where that'll lead us to.
Well, I think that these things feed on themselves. I mean, Alan and I, when we were kids, we watched Apollo, and we watched the first flybys to Mars and Jupiter and Saturn, and we were like, we want to do more of that. Now kids are watching New Horizons, and it's like they're Apollo. People have told us that.
Yeah.
And hopefully in Chasing New Horizons, we've told the story in a way that will inspire people and shown, sort of how it works and how you can solve. There's a lot of problems to solve. Some of them are human and political. Some of them are technical. But where there's a will, there's a way. And Alan and his colleagues, they decided they wanted to do this, and they found a way to do it. And I think that young people will be inspired to realize that it's possible to achieve things that people are telling you may not be possible if you just get determined and stick to it. That's definitely one of the lessons here.
Yeah. That story repeats itself. Columbus was told, don't sail west, you'll fall off the edge, that there's nothing over there. And the Wright brothers were told, you'll never master, you can't do flight, that's for balloons and gliders, but there's no such thing as powered flight, right? And in the 40s, they were saying that rockets wouldn't work in space because there's nothing to push against in the vacuum, right? And human beings are just amazing. We're inquisitive, and we're naturally explorers, and we're very ingenious as a species, and we make stuff happen.
And this is really a story about teamwork too. I mean, an individual human cannot do something like this. Alan talks about that. Spaceflight is not something one person can achieve.
Totally.
It's a team sport, and this story of New Horizons is a testament to that. At one point there were 2,500 people working on the project, including building the rocket and everything. And then it was a much smaller team that was involved, like 50 people that were flying it across the solar system, but it's a team, And this is about what human beings can do when they get together and organize themselves and focus on a long-term goal that's important to them,